Hello, friends. Welcome to the LowcoSports Lowdown on a Monday night. Justin Jarrett, Wes Kerr, and Marcus Walsh with you, and Max Araj may be joining us in progress as he makes his way from his other things. But how you doing, boys? It's Monday. I survived. Looks like you survived as well. Here we are. Y'all all right?
Yes, indeed, doing quite well. Off to a flying start for rivalry week. Tell you what,
Yes.
really looking forward to Friday night. That is going to be some kind of fun. Did the cold open, worked with Forrest on some story ideas and whatnot for the game. Trying to get you guys in touch with him as well. Forrest Tucker, our
Yeah. Yeah, I
pregame
saw that
show
email.
host and sideline reporter, and he's just been great. He's looking to do some other stuff for the news for us. So I was, kind of converging from stuff, from the past week and looking ahead, getting as much information as I can get already under my fingernails and whatnot. I was going fast and furious on those keys today, and I'm not
Yeah.
talking with the
Tickling the
piano. I'm
ivory.
talking with the
Yeah. I mean,
computer.
we have multiple. I'm counting four big
At least
time
three.
local games. We got Bluffton Hilton, we got Whale Branch Battery Creek, we got Hardyville Ridgeland, we got BA Colleton Prep, some huge
There you go.
big time rivalry, or at least all area teams playing against each other with a lot of big stakes of the line, especially in Bluffton Hilton and Prep, or sorry, Buford Academy College and Prep. Yeah, that should be a ton of fun. But we still have a week of football to recap, to talk about what just
Yes, we
happened,
do.
and
That's right.
certainly some takeaways that
We got
I'm
a
still
lot of
trying to
highlights
recharge
queued
from
up.
that late night over in Varnville. Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
It was
we've
exciting
been
for the first half. The second half was, it was fun for Seahawks fans, but not for the Hampton County fans who waited out the monsoon between like an hour or so after that game was suspended due to weather, which kind of came out of nowhere. I didn't think it had any chance of raining on Friday night, and then all of a sudden
right.
they were saying
Yeah,
late
it
in the
was
weather.
like
That was
It was like
wild.
15% chance, and then it just popped up out of nowhere and
We
got you.
had
But
we had literally just a few sprinkles before the game in Buford, and then as the game was going on, like it had just started, I think we got a few more sprinkles, and Jeremy was like, "Is that rain? Because if it is, we may have a problem."
yeah,
Um, but that was
I
literally it. I
I
trust that
don't
you
think
were
we
able
had
to take
any.
cover, Wes.
Yep. Yes, but quite an adventure there. Those last couple of
Yeah,
it just you didn't expect it. So thankfully, I was able
Yeah,
to take cover in the
exactly.
press box. But it's quite the night. But thankfully they're able to get the game in, and Hilton had showed off well in that one. So tough for Hampton County. A couple of tough losses against
right.
Hilton Head and Bluffton. And now they go up against each other, the Seahawks and the Bobcats, in what could be possibly the game of the year. We've had a couple of good ones,
I'm
but I'm
Should
still
be a
I'm
good
still not
one.
back on Hampton. Two really good 4A, or at least two solid 4A teams that
Yeah,
are starting to find their groove. And Hampton, you learn to build on what you've done so far this year. I still think they're a 2A contender, but maybe they've got some stuff to work on. Just in terms of their defense was a little bit rattled. They weren't able to find some big stops against both those teams. Certainly had a couple of unforced errors in both games that they would like to correct. But that's why you schedule
Yep.
those games, and you propel yourself from those experiences towards the rest of the season. And I'm looking forward to seeing what the Hurricanes do going forward. They are at Christchurch this week to
yeah,
prepare to
another tough
West.
test.
Yeah,
They're testing themselves.
yes.
Um, I mean, I like it because your region is what it is. So you got to step
Right.
out and play some tough non-region games if you want to be battle tested for a playoff run. So
Absolutely.
no, I'm like you. I'm not down on them at all. They got exposed a little bit, but they got exposed by pretty good football teams, um, and this game Friday was a weird one, right? I mean, they're right in it. It's a back and forth
Mhm.
battle, and then the weather delay, and clearly Hilton Head was the better team after the break. But that's an anomaly type situation that you don't know how the game would have gone without it. So yeah, I'm not worried about Hampton too much at all. But yeah, we'll get into some highlights. I got highlights of quite a few games queued up. We'll just kind of freewheel it tonight. We don't have a whole lot of stuff we have to get to, so we're just kind of breaking down what happened on Friday night. The show tonight brought to you by our all-star sponsors, Mickelson Law Firm, our official real estate closing attorney, and our presenting sponsor of our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage, and WHHI TV, our partner in local sports. And we might as well start with the WHHI TV game of the week. Marcus, you were on the call,
I
Beaufort
was.
and Battery Creek, and I chopped up some highlights for us. Starting with Lil Marv. Lil Marv was the ref. I don't know his name, but I call him Lil Marv because he looks
It
like
was
Marvin Lewis.
John Dodson.
John Dodson.
John
That's Lil
Dodson.
Marv.
He's a good one.
All right.
He is. I call him Lil Marv. Chaz Brown with the block, and Raymond Middleton.
Very
balls on it
powerful
to
block.
start things off. Yeah, big time. Got in there.
Jazz Brown. What a
Take another
dude.
look at it.
Whoa.
There he is. Boom.
Middleton in the right spot at the right time to pick
Yeah.
that ball up in the back of the end zone.
Cheerleaders like
Beaufort
it.
was dominant early and really rolled in this one. They found the spark
Early
after what
adopter.
happened in the last game and just carried it with them and
That
found
was a
offensive juice again.
sensational play.
Yeah.
Right
That was
through the
phenomenal.
DB's hands. Keandre
Ooh.
Jenkins.
The
Wow.
pass
able to-
was behind him,
Yeah.
and he literally reached over and made a
And then-
hell of a catch.
What
Kwalik
a play.
Gesner with the moss. You got mossed.
Yes,
You
Yeah.
got leaked.
and he
You got
did.
leaked. Yeah, he's gonna like that. You got leaked. Oh, head top. You got the head top from the
Ooh.
crazies. Brought the baby.
What a
powder.
crowd that Buford
It was
had.
Braden
They
Moyd
were out and
Smalls.
ready.
So what'd you think of Smalls, Moyd Smalls?
I was really impressed with him.
Pretty electric.
We had a couple of guys that we were thinking about for player of the game, and ultimately, we went with him, and he just was the epitome of a leader. And this was a big time game because Buford hadn't had a home win yet. So
Right.
I think this game is going to get them going for sure. It's going to get them elevated a little bit. They've got a tough road, certainly, but you know, in talking to Bryce, and I know Jeff did too. Talking to Bryce after the game,
Shout
obviously
out to
the
the Creek
bye. Yeah, the bye is huge for Buford heading into the Bluffton game, which
Yep.
I'll have for you on WHHI next week. The Broad River Bowl, I just
Broad River
love
Bowl.
for sure.
Yep.
Love it. But this is going to propel.
Broadwater.
This is Broadwater was big at the end of the game for sure.
Yeah,
This is
couple
going to propel
touchdown
Buford
runs.
to be more
Look,
competitive in a really good
I
region and
think
sneak
I
out
think
another win. I think.
Yeah, I think they're on the right track. I just think that Bluffton, despite falling in a tough game at Lucy Beckham, I still think they're the better team. But this is exactly what Buford
Yeah.
needed. They needed to find a way to string some wins together, and they certainly had to pull out some magic out of the hat in the first one. But this one was the dominant form that you'd expect from them against the Battery Creek team that's still trying to get back to that level where they can hang with the Eagles. It's still Buford's to win. It's still Buford's rivalry. They found a way to get on top of them early and really cruise the rest of the way. But now you have that belief amongst the squad that you can find success and you can get the offense going after failing to score 10 points in their first 3 games. They finally put into high gear, and now they're 2-3. It's a completely different narrative heading
Right.
to the bye. So, exactly where you want to be when we were 2 weeks before searching for that first victory. Now you've got 2 of them. So on the right track there for Buford, but I just don't know if they've got enough. I think the defense can be competitive at times. I still don't think that offense has enough those playmakers that they need, that Buford has had in those last few years to really put them over the top. But you never know what a couple of good weeks can do for you. This Bryce Leibman team has had similar stories before.
Yep.
And they're going to really have to find ways to get the most out of who they have, because this Bluffton team is going to be coming off. Obviously, they've got the advantage of having an extra week instead of having to
Right.
go right back at the next week because you get that
Correct.
that extra week off, 2 weeks of prep, 2 weeks to get ready for Bluffton.
Right.
I still think the Bobcats have a little bit more. I think I just think they're at in terms of just the talent level at a different just different height than Buford is
Yeah.
right now.
I
But
think
have
that's
to-
fair.
those
I have to
games gonna be
clarify.
tough.
I have to clarify something. What I said was I think Buford's good for one more win on their schedule. I didn't necessarily
Okay.
say that I was thinking that Buford
Right.
was going to
No,
beat Bluffton. Of
I
course, I'm
agree
not
with
picking
most
that
of
game
those.
because I've
Right.
got to call it
Of course.
coming up. And then on the Battery Creek side of things, it's just tough. And I asked Daniel Court this at halftime. I said, typically we don't delve super into the psyche, but I said, you're a former quarterback, the great former quarterback at Furman University, as I like to say. I'm like, they have to go back to thinking that it's a 0-0 game when in
Yeah.
reality it's not.
Right.
And just how difficult is that? And obviously Daniel said, of course, it's very difficult, but that's really what they have to do. I think that through the
Next
course of the
play,
rest
next
of
play,
the
next play.
season, I think Battery Creek can get another win. But they have to go back to the drawing board, I think, because they just the guys just don't seem to quite gel
Yeah.
with certain situations, and
We
it's
do
it's
have
been
North
tough for
Charleston
sure.
Yeah.
on the schedule, and that always helps.
Yep.
And I think that was the one that I kind of picked
You
that
always
I
circle
think they
that
should
one.
be able to take that one.
Yeah, that's one that you got to be able to win. That one that gets you into the playoffs. You win that one. So, but yeah, but Buford rolling in that one, and then like we said, competition level going up after the bye week. They'll take on Bluffton. Bluffton taking the L at Lucy
How
Beckham,
about it?
despite another big night from Aiden McCarthy and company. McCarthy 25 of 33 for 365 with 2 touchdowns to Carnell Warren, who had 8 catches for 166. They had some big plays, made some big plays, but see, I can't get my thing to go full screen for me. But they just couldn't put it in the end zone enough. They held to 20 points. Holly had the other touchdown on a rush. So I don't know that much about the rest of how this game went, except that they were playing from behind, and despite a lot of yards, they didn't have a lot of points. They did break some big plays though, as you can see. Carnell going to bust one, and then break out and go. And then as I was watching this last night, on the next one, I was like, oh my. But as far as from what I can tell, it's not going to be a problem. You'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. Got ahead of myself. So here you go, 21-13. Bobcats get a fumble recovery. So, they're in business right
Yep.
here. They end up at the 20, but I guess they weren't able to cash in.
Stuff.
The man Jeff Riley is watching.
What a guy Aiden McCarthy is. God, I
Yeah,
mean,
he
we
is.
talk about him
So
all
here
the
you
time.
go.
He's just
Carnell makes the catch and then takes a swing. Looked like. It's hard to tell from there. You got a flag. I did a little bit of research and was told that he wasn't ejected. I was curious because if he was ejected, it would be a suspension for the next game. And so I was curious whether he was ejected. I was told he wasn't.
Taking a look at
But
your video, JJ, that
which
you
was this
posted.
video. I cropped it in a little bit more to try to take a better look, and it looked like
I
full
didn't
on
even.
play.
I did not see any reason why that had to be done.
Yeah,
None. He went up,
I
caught the ball. It didn't look to me
the
like the
guy was
Lucy
hanging
Beckham
on his
player.
neck.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
kind of, but
I
like
didn't. I didn't see that.
it looked
Maybe
like
I
a
need to take
football
a
play.
closer look.
But maybe they had been going at it all night.
That could
Like
be.
you
That
never
could be.
know. You never know. And maybe that's why there was no ejection. Maybe they had been going at it all night, and the refs felt like they had it under control, and they just said, "Hey, that's it. No, that's enough."
You all
Um,
you all didn't
but
have anybody out there, right?
no, it
To
was up
cover it.
in Mount Pleasant.
Yeah. Right.
Um, but uh, but no, it caught my eye on Huddle. I was like, "Oh no, is he going to be
Right.
suspended?" Because I mean, we had a player suspended for less because the ref thought he took a swing, and he didn't, but it looked like he did from his vantage point, and
Yeah.
he was suspended a game.
Yeah.
So, I was worried at first, like, "Oh God, don't let that be the storyline." But and it still could be because I think they can still review it if the official asks them to or whatever. But
Find
I
out
don't
in a
know.
few
But
days.
initial reports are there was no ejection, which would usually mean no punishment coming. But
Yeah.
it was interesting. I was like, oh boy, can't lose their cool in that situation.
Right.
So the Bobcats now have to try to bounce back from a tough loss in a difficult situation. They've got to go. We're at the Nest, right?
That's right.
They got to go on the road
Yes,
to Hilton
you're at the
Head,
nest, and a
Hey,
and what seems to
WHHI TV
be
game of the week.
and
yep.
what seems to be the most the addition of the Bridge Bowl, certainly the last few years, I think, with the most on the line. Although I remember there were a few that were important in terms of implications, but the way both teams have been as good seems like
This
it's been a
year.
while that both teams have been
Right,
at this high level. It feels like we haven't seen that in a few years, and I think these
right,
two teams, even though Bluffton has lost last week and they're no longer unbeaten. Both teams playing with one loss on the season, and
right.
both coming in, I think, pretty happy and excited about how well they each other are playing, or how well their own
Mhm.
teams are playing, and it's shaping up to be a heck of an interesting clash because Bluffton's offense, certainly the aerial attack. You look at Hilton Head's tough defense, and came up and showed a lot on the road. I mean, Hampton got their scoring done early, but Hilton was able to clamp
Mhm.
down late and get some stops. So, Hilton Head's learned and improved, I think, as that game went on
Yeah.
defensively, and they've got some guys. They're gonna make it tough on Abe McCarthy and the Bobcats. So I'm very intrigued to really dive into this game and kind of break down the important aspects
I
to it because this is such a huge one for both of these teams. First region game, of course, but I mean this is a game that could change really the trajectory of both their seasons for whoever is able to come out on top. You get a big jump on that region, and then you've got an opportunity to make a run in 6-4A for whoever is able to come out on top in this game. And
right.
maybe not as big of a rivalry in terms of excitement than it was the last decade, but still, this is a
I
terrific.
think
They
I
still
it
like
is.
each other.
I'll I'll say
Maybe not
this.
like it, but there's still a little bit of a
I think there's a good bit of
rivalry.
juice still.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, there
here's the
is.
thing, like May River may be Bluffton's primary rival now, but Bluffton is still Hilton Head's primary rival.
Yeah.
And
I agree with
so
that. I agree with that.
there's still a lot of juice there. There's still a lot of
Yep,
juice. And
In
Bluffton's still mad about having to go to school on Hilton Head for 40 years or whatever. Like they're still mad about it. Like
yeah.
they don't like Hilton Head.
in
So it's still a
already
good rivalry.
taking a look, and this will be my first time calling Bluffton this year, first time of three.
Ooh,
In taking a look at Bluffton and what they've got, obviously Amari Patterson, huge addition. We know what Carnell can do. We know what Aiden McCarthy can do. They've got some running backs as well. On the side of Hilton Head, they just keep on plugging away, and I really like their ability, certainly, to run the football. It's going to be, a little bit of a chess match there offensively, I think. And in seeing what I saw out of Hilton Head against Hardyville a couple of weeks ago, that was not a perfect game from them, and certainly BJ told me that, but they still looked really good. And obviously last year, and this kind of goes to your point, Wes, thinking about the recency, last year was an aberration without question. But you go
Yeah.
back to the two previous years, and there was a 3 point game that I called, and then Kevin Libby filled in for me on the 4 point game, 28-24. I think we're going to go right back to that. And if there's a key
yeah.
outside of offense, defense, all these stars everywhere, led by the offensive and defensive lines, getting into the trenches, making things happen. As you can tell, I'm very excited about this game Friday. The Hilton Head Special Teams. They've got a two-headed monster that I saw 2 weeks ago in Sexton and Lindstedt. That could be the difference.
Kickers.
I think we're looking at
advantage Hilton Head
probably
special teams.
a 3-7. I think at most 10-point game, but I think it's
Yeah.
really, really tight.
I mean, you
Really
see how
tight.
important the kicker can be
Yes.
to be a difference in this
So,
game. Just,
will it be
just
aired
ask
on
Max
TV?
Barrage and Parker Romo of the Atlanta
Oh,
Falcons.
Ouch.
But,
It will be aired. Well,
WHHI.
WHHI will stream
Yes.
it live on their YouTube
They'll be
channel.
doing the play-by-play.
And then they'll air it throughout the week. I believe WSAV also is calling this one,
Okay.
broadcasting this one.
Ooh,
So
yeah,
packed
it's going to
house
be
at the Nest.
a party over there in that.
It makes
in that
sense.
press
Party in the
box.
Nest, party in
Yes,
the
it's-
Nest.
And
It's quite
yeah, well,
I think
speaking
I
of
will
the
be there as
Seahawks,
well. I
game of the
mean,
year so far.
I know.
shall we peep
I
Wes's
understand
first half
that,
highlights?
I understand that I as much as I want to go to a different game, I mean it's the place to be, and I've never missed a Bridge Bowl
Right on
for the
time, Ms.
last
Grant.
6-7 years, and I'm not going to miss this one. So,
Saw one time bringing them in on the Hurricane Walk. It was all good vibes early for the Canes.
really was, and I felt that Singletary was really gonna be that difference for this game for Hampton County.
Play.
Yep, early
in a
field
minute.
goal
That's
for
crazy.
the Seahawks.
Bo
There, you mentioned
Sexton,
Sexton with
the
a
aforementioned.
nice kick. Yep, to give the Seahawks the
Dude's
early
got a
jump. But
leg.
here comes Agent Zero,
This is a
Jalen
crazy play.
Singletary.
Ooh,
boy.
oh my!
Wow.
Cooking him.
Breaking ankles.
That was
and,
nasty.
oh,
That
Tight
was
shit.
that
Wow.
was crazy.
Yep.
The hips on that boy. Goodness. I
Yep.
know he's a hooper, but God, he could be such a good wrestler.
Slide to the right.
Bang.
And of course, the
Bang.
tradition of Hampton County,
Bang.
the bell
Love
ringing after each trip to the end zone for the Hurricanes, and
Gotta love it.
this Hampton
Those
County
are some-
offense found some explosive plays early in
Yeah,
this
they
game to keep pace with the Seahawks. But here's the
That's-
pick six that really
Jay
gave
Walters.
Hilton a little bit of momentum early. This
Jeremiah
defense
Walters.
is. Yep, well, nice impact play there. This defense has been known to make some big ones, and flag thrown through the end
Those
zone.
are some sweet looking jerseys too that Hampton's
Yeah.
got.
Oh
Man,
yeah,
those
they're
things
so
slide.
clean.
Yes.
So clean.
Looks
The
dope.
helmet's clean. Yeah,
Yep.
it's a good look.
Jeff Riley is in the house watching this.
0.5. Agent
0.5.
0.5.
But Hilton had really took control of this game. Once you're able to
Yeah,
get a couple of
pressure.
stops on defense and keep finding ways to get those big chunk gains, and Hampton eventually just couldn't find the stops, and Seahawks just really willed their way and grinded their way to a win in that second half. And
Yeah,
Seahawks
they
certainly
kind of dominated in
Yeah.
the second half, huh?
Yeah, they really did. Hampton County unable to get those same explosive plays as they had early on, and Seahawks defense rose to the occasion. That's a nice road win, a good response by Hilton. And I think the delay kind of helped the Seahawks in that game, because you look at Hampton. So the weather happened, or the delay happened right after Hampton scored the electric touchdown to Agent Zero to Singletary, which I believe was his third of the game, and then eventually they paused the game because of weather, and kind of gave Hilton a reset. And I think after that, the Seahawks really got back at him and took control the rest of the way. So, sometimes that suspension of the game can kind of change momentum, and I think it did there. I think Hampton really wasn't able to find that same energy or spark after halftime.
That's
Or
credit
after
to
the
the coaching staff. Whatever they did to both keep the players, engaged and ready physically, and also whatever adjustments they made during that time are both, critical to coming out of the break well. So credit to the coaching staff there, BJ Payne and company doing a great job to get that dub. Elsewhere in the region, there wasn't much else because May River was off. Colleton was walloped 51-0 by Stratford. No surprise there. Bit of a mismatch in that case. Also, Philip Simmons 46-14 over Whale Branch.
I tell you what,
Passing
Whale
game
Branch
for
is
the
going to
Iron
be
Horses.
mad.
What's
They're
that?
gonna be mad. They're going to be mad going into that Battery Creek
Going
game.
into Creek, yeah, going into Creek on
Yep.
Friday. That should be a good one. Also, so there were 3 56-0 games, which is wild. Hammond
Wow.
over HHCA, Bethesda over Patrick Henry, and Colleton Prep over Clarendon Hall. I got some stats on Colleton Prep for you boys. They only ran 21 offensive plays. So Langdale said not much, not a lot offensively. But Cale Owens was still 7 of 9 for 286 and 4 touchdowns. Terry
Wow.
Corbett, 4 catches for 205 and 3 touchdowns. Charlie Walker, 2 carries for 58 yards and 2 touchdowns, 3 tackles and 2 picks. And Everett Temple with 8 tackles. So domination from
Yeah.
Colleton Prep. And that sets up a big time matchup this week against Buford Academy, which is no longer unbeaten. We got a
Yep.
few highlights here from Ray Alonso.
more,
Defensive struggle. So you're going to see some good defense early on.
Yep.
Eagles
I got to
looking good
think
on
that
defense.
Jimmy Stearson will be at that game because Buford's not playing this week,
I would guess that is accurate.
and that would make Ray be able to go to the Battery Creek Whale Branch game.
Correct. Yeah.
Yes.
You got it. You got it pegged. You got it pegged. That's exactly what I was thinking. There goes Nick Underwood. He broke one.
Goodbye.
I bottled him up mostly, but he broke one. That tied it at 8 after they got the 2-point conversion. But then it was John Wetzel. He gets into the end zone, and then he would score one more time in the fourth quarter to give. That was 2 fourth quarter touchdowns to give Dorchester Academy the big win, 22 or what was it, 22-8? Is that right? 21-8, 21-8 Dorchester over
right.
BA. So now BA Colleton Prep going to battle on Friday at Merritt Field. Correct?
Big
Yes.
big
No,
win
at
for Ridgeland too.
Colleton Prep.
Yeah.
At Colleton Prep. Warhawks at home. We'll get into that as well. Ridgeland with a massive win. And let me see if I can pull up if their huddle's up. I'd like to watch the highlights of this. Now Burke is not the greatest. I will say that Ridgeland had they had 4 defensive touchdowns and a special teams touchdown. They had 4 offensive touchdowns as well. Here we go. Let me share my screen. So they really got it going. It was mostly Bam Crawford who did the damage on offense. He had a bunch of yards. Let me see here. 148 and 2 touchdowns. Tyshawn Smith scored a couple of touchdowns. But it was mostly defense and special teams, as we will see in this Huddle game recap, brought to you by Huddle. We don't actually have a Huddle sponsorship, but I love Huddle.
Oh,
It's my lifeblood.
that was great.
But if you'd like to sponsor these Huddle game recaps, certainly let us know. We could say brought to you by whomever. So here we go. Here comes the rash of fumble recovery returns for touchdowns. It turned into bad news bears out there. 70-20, the final in this one, by the way. Oh, it's going to be Bam.
Wow.
Big Bam.
As Mark Jackson used to say on the NBA on ABC, "Mama, there goes that man."
There go that man. So yeah, they that says 64-26. I don't know. 70-20 is what the score said on Max Preps. We're going to assume that's accurate. The Huddle does get confused sometimes about the scores. So now that's got Ridgeland feeling kind of salty going into next week. They're at home.
Yep.
They got homecoming, and they got the rivals from Hardyville coming up the road. And Marching Shockwave going to come with us up to Ridgeland
no
on
doubt.
Friday.
You'll be rooting your guys on.
Some of my best journalists right there in that marching band. Kamari Brown still having a year. Trying to get this guy recruited.
Yeah,
Come and get him on the
he's all
jet
healthy
sweep.
and whatnot. Oh, yeah, I'd say.
Yep, the thumb is
Goodness.
fine. He jammed the thumb, but it's
Hey,
fine now.
Chihuahua.
Yeah.
If it had happened 2 days before the game, he'd have been fine. It happened 2 hours before the game. That was the
Yeah,
problem.
that was
It
wild. 'Cause
swelled up, and
I was
he
really
couldn't.
excited to see him, and then Max said all of a sudden, "Oh, he's not playing. He's got a thumb." I'm like, "What?"
And then
Yeah,
Kyron Jameson got his first real
I
run
was
at
so
quarterback.
impressed with him too.
Well, Kyron here, the freshman, Kyrell's out right now with the shoulder, but
Oh,
Kyron, the freshman,
that's
his
right.
younger
And I did
brother, the freshman going deep for Greg Grant.
I
Greg
did tell you
spins out of the
guys
tackle.
about Kyrell after the
Yeah,
fact.
yeah, Kyrell's out for a few weeks, but Kyron, the freshman, getting his first real run at quarterback, and he goes deep. There's Presidente Rayleigh. He goes
Everything
deep
all
for
right with
Greg.
Santiago?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're just mixing it up. They both played some snaps.
Okay.
Different packages, different looks. Kyron gives us a little bit more of a deep ball threat. Santiago can do a lot of other things on offense too. We really like him at a H-back or a wing back.
Okay.
And he plays a lot on defense as well. He's critical on
He
defense. There's
had the
Kamari.
pick six
I'm going to run this
against Hilton
back
Head, which
so
you're
you
like,
can
whoa.
see this, because this is the freshman, Kyron Jameson. Take a look at this. He's got a man hanging off of him, and he delivers the ball to Kamari Brown. Kyron is a tall drink of water. There's Santiago right there. There's Kyron. He is a big boy, just a freshman. We really like him. And here he's going to make a freshman mistake, though. He's going to force it over the middle, looking for Kamari. Pick from Lee Central. And we were down to about a minute 20 or so at that point, I think. We were really kind of trying to press the issue. And he kind of forced one into coverage there. But freshman mistake, but really an encouraging performance from him on Friday. And we were down a couple guys. We're down Kyrell and Joseph Ferguson, our middle linebacker and left guard. I think with either one of those guys, Hardyville gets the win there. But a really good showing against the team that blew them out last year. And now they tried to get up off the mat and go take on Ridgeland on Friday in what should be an entertaining game, to say the least. We'll pick them on Thursday night. But let's see, what other scores are we missing here? I got one more highlight for you guys to check out, but let me see if I'm missing any scores. No, Palmetto Christian 52-14 over Cross. Don't know a whole lot about that one. And then Hilton Head Prep getting the dub over Augusta
Big
Christian,
win.
24-7. We got a few highlights from Wyatt Harmer. Kind of a tough view there. The lighting not great there.
I was going to say either the lighting's not great or there's dense fog.
Yeah, something.
Feels like it should have.
We're gonna get a
John
couple
Facenda in the background.
better looks here, but it does look like maybe it was foggy and the lighting is poor. But Harmer going deep.
Oh yeah.
For Finney and Rooney for the touchdown, and then Harmer a rushing touchdown. Dolphins victorious on the road.
Love to see that. Love to see that from Coach McFadden.
And no team needed it more.
No, I mean,
no team.
I think you're right. Especially after just some bad luck and just bad results to start the season, this is much more encouraging. This is what the level of fight and success that you would expect against a team like that for Hilton Head Prep, and now you take it and build on it, and now a whole new vibe coming into the locker, coming into next week after getting that first win of the season. So. You absolutely love to see that from the Dolphins, who have really fought hard. The effort certainly was there the first few games; it just wasn't clicking. But now it's.
And they've got another winnable game next week at Dillon Christian.
Yes, they do.
Ratchet up a little bit for a couple games, but that's.
I'm still scheduled to see them against JP2, and I was thinking to myself, when are they going to be able to put it all together, both being able to play a full game and put it all together on the field in that premise. And they did it. I think they have a definite chance to beat Dillon Christian. And October 10th, they've got JP2, and that could be interesting, possibly.
Yeah.
Harmer, by the way, was 11 of 17 for 142 and a touchdown, 10 carries for 75 and a TD. Finney and Rooney with the touchdown reception, Davis Cargill with a rushing touchdown, and Finney and Rooney with the field goal. So, and Wyatt Harmer with the scoring recap and stats that he compiled himself. Gotta love it.
There you go.
Future Loco intern.
That's
right there.
what you call calling your own number.
Well, I messaged him and I said, "Hey,
Back-
can I get those videos you posted?" And
Good
I
going,
said,
Wyatt.
"You happen to have any stats?" And he said,
Fantastic.
"I'm doing my stats right now. I'll hit you up when I get done." So
Love
good
it.
stuff. Love the initiative from Mr.
Yes.
Harmer. So yeah, that's what went down in week 4 of the high school football season. Some big performances for sure. A few blowouts, but a few really good games in there. And making a little more sense of it. So
Yep.
I guess when Max won't be with us tonight, he said, but when we get back together on Wednesday, we'll do
We'll have
our
to rank
updated
them
power
and
polls
see.
for the high school league and the Skeezers and see if this changed anything for us. Not sure it's going to make a big impact in our rankings, honestly. Anything that happened this week
Yeah.
might not be that top spot, perhaps. We'll see.
Yeah.
But well, Bluffton's lost. Yeah, I don't know what we do with
Yeah,
them.
I mean,
Does
it's
Hilton Head go
debatable for
ahead of them?
sure. It's
Yeah,
certainly
we'll
worth
have some
debate.
discussion. We'll have to have
Yeah.
some discussion for sure. All right, boys. Well, we want to shout out some sponsors. Thanks to Hudson's Seafood House on the Docks, presenting sponsor of Under the Bus. We'll have a new episode for you tomorrow night on the Lowco Media Network. Hudson's is a great place for seafood, sunsets, and cocktails on Hilton Head Island, the preeminent spot to grab a cocktail and sit and look at the sunset, I would say, on Hilton Head
Those
Island.
sunsets are gorgeous out that way.
If you have too many after the sunsets and or if somebody else has too many and they run into you on the road and you need a personal injury attorney, we got one with a rare name, but they provide remarkable service at Twinge and Twombly Personal Injury Attorneys. So if you need someone to help you get that settlement, call in Twinge and Twombly. And if you need to improve your view of the Loco, our old friend Coach Barron has traded in his whistle and his screens for a new kind of screens at HHI Windows and Doors, improving your view of the Loco. We've also got Reverence Wrestling Club, our official wrestling sponsor and presenting sponsor of the Loco Grind, and Jay's Barbershop, the place to be in Ridgeland, whether you need a haircut or not. What do you boys want to get into tonight? What else
I'm
is
trying
on
to
your
find
radar?
some
Anything
cross country results, but the website I normally use is taking its time. So trying to
Scrunners isn't working for you?
no mile split. I normally
Yeah, I know. I call it Scrunners because it's
okay.
SC runners.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah, it's
So I
Truck Rally
knew there
got
was
it
something going. I
sponsorship.
saw I've gotten
Twinge and
I get
Twombly.
emails from time to time about things that are happening, and I saw something.
Yeah, I'm sure people were running this weekend. I know the Hurricanes, Hardyville Hurricanes cross country debuting Wednesday at Colleton
Okay.
County. I'll
Okay.
be on the
Nice.
trip as the assistant coach.
Nice.
So I'll let you know how that goes.
Yeah. When did that happen? I saw via, was it X or it was probably
Oh, it
Instagram
happened.
that
It actually
you
happened
were.
last spring that I told her I would
Okay.
help her out. I'm an occasional assistant coach, but I am going to try to make it to as many of the meets as
Yeah.
possible.
There you go.
Just helping out, just helping out. I mean, look, I went from couch to 5K to running a marathon training myself, so I know a little something about it.
Wow. I guess.
You know, I did learn a good bit about it. I trained under the tutelage of Larry Kimball, the legendary USCB cross country coach. So
Okay.
you know, I know a good bit about the kinetics and the you know what it takes to train yourself to be a runner. I did run a sub 2 half marathon, which is fairly legit for
Wow.
someone over 40. 156 on the half marathon at my peak. Yeah, and a 22:07 5K in my 40s.
What?
Pretty solid. Pretty solid. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, I was getting pretty competitive in running before I ran the marathon, and that
That's
ruined me.
fantastic.
Yeah,
That's
it
awesome.
ruined
Yeah,
me. I got a
it's
whole bunch.
really
I
cool.
got a
I've
whole
always
bunch
enjoyed.
of medals over here.
That's great. I've always
Wow.
enjoyed running, and
It's awesome.
it's very rewarding. So, you know, I got to do it. Obviously, I was a cross country runner years ago, Hilton High, and it's just such a great experience, and it's a great sport, and it's a
Indeed.
fantastic sport. No matter like if you're uh, doing something else in the winter or spring, or mostly just a cross country track guy. I was a cross country guy, but a lot of my teammates did track as well. Like I said, very challenging, very rewarding sport. It really takes a toll out of you, but you become a better athlete, become a better, just overall hard worker on the track, on the cross country trails, and I think it just translates to other aspects of your life.
It's a lifelong sport
Yeah,
too.
it really
Yeah.
is. It's like golf, tennis, but I just think there's something inherently rewarding and so pure about running compared to other sports that makes it really satisfying and just such a great experience. So I really enjoyed that I did it, and yeah, very, very.
I wish I would have done cross country in high school. I don't think we had a cross country team when I was in high school. They do now, but I don't think they did when I was in there. Here we go. I found myself. I'll show you. Photographic proof of me finishing the half marathon. There you go.
Look at you go.
Yeah, man, I was fit back then. Actually, that's one of the best parts about running is that fitness stays with you. If you get yourself in like serious running fitness, like even after you stop running, you've still got like some base fitness that stays with you. You got some musculature that not everybody has in your legs, and you got some depth in your lungs that not everybody has. And,
I remember when I was in high school. Excuse me, I was in high school as the manager of the basketball team at Massillon Perry, and we would have to go through the kind of the bowels of the athletic center, which was down in kind of the basement area of the high school. And I would see those guys training like up against the wall, certainly doing, the skips and jumps and all that stuff. And I saw a couple of guys there literally every single day with the coach, just getting after it, and seeing them run all around the indoor track, outdoor track, you name it. They'd run around our gym, which had a track around it, our basketball gymnasium and whatnot. It's so I never did it per se, but certainly know a lot of people as well that have, and yeah, it's something for sure.
But coaching cross country pretty easy. You're just like, all right, guys, go run through the woods for 30 minutes, and then
Right.
you wait for them to come back.
Like when I took the fitness walking class in college. That didn't end well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was the first day we were walking around Ashland County, and we're outside, and you got all those kind of sidewalk layers.
Yeah.
I kicked one too many of those and ended up flying like Superman.
Took a tumble. Took a spill.
Oh, I took a tumble. I sure did.
I tried to load the Lake Murray Invitational results and had no luck either, Wes. So I guess we won't be talking about those. I'll tell you whose cross country team is looking real good though is JP2's boys. They are strong.
Okay.
They've been looking real good. Oh, here's something that I can put out to you. That any former May River student athletes, alumni athletes from May River, they're trying to start a Sports U page for alumni.
Awesome.
So
that's
I don't know if we're
awesome.
supposed to like publicly post the code, probably not. But if you need that code, reach out to us or reach out to Coach Bigham over at May River and get the code to join the Sports U, because they want to keep in touch with their alumni and have a place where they can keep them filled in on what's happening and also stay in touch with them about what's going on in their lives. So I think that's a cool thing, definitely. Love that, and I love Sports U. Sports U is a good app.
Yeah, it's a great
It's a
great
great
use
app.
of just when you're trying to connect on if you're a coworker or just someone who for our case, but also for some people who want to stay informed on their teams.
It's great for
and
teams.
it's
Teams.
fantastic.
Because you can have your parents in there, everybody in there. You got your
Yeah,
calendar. You got all your
we
stuff.
got so many. It's such a useful, especially for
Good app.
teams, for just
Oh,
organizations.
hey,
in
I
general,
finally
but-
got it to load.
Yep.
Finally loaded the
terrific
results
platform.
from Lake
Yes,
Murray.
especially for like travel teams and parents who are trying to coordinate
Yeah.
stuff, and it's a great tool. So I'm glad to be able to use it,
Uh,
make use of it.
I don't see. Oh yeah, they're there. All right, so May River and Hilton Head both ran at Lake Murray. There were 33 boys teams. May River was 7th, Hilton Head was 11th. Jackson Wright had a really good showing. Man, there was so many freaking people here. Jackson Wright and Talon Farrington, again, they went 2-3, finished in 1550 and 1556 for May River. So they're looking like the cream of the crop in the area for the boys. On the girls' side, Julia McKenna, again, with an individual title from Hilton Head, 1805. She won by 18 seconds. Gabby Leidy from May River was 14th. That's our next local finisher. So I'm guessing our team scores are probably not terribly competitive. Well, actually, May River in 6th, Hilton Head in 7th. So not real good at, not like an elite top end for May River, but really solid middle. It looks like. So starting to get a little bit of a feel. We'll know more when they go head to head. Going into region, lower state and state, but cross country is
Yep.
fun times. Just getting going, really. They're
Yeah,
still,
I mean, this is when, yeah, I mean, it really starts early to mid September, and then it really starts rolling as the meets get just more. You get a lot more of them in the back half of the season. Then you start getting to the big ones like the region, state, lower state, and then
yeah.
state meets, and it all builds
Yeah.
up to that point. So you want to be, you got to be at your best at the end of the season, and that's what these young men, young women are trying to do. And best of luck to them. I'm looking forward to getting really more into it as we get towards, it's almost October, we're only a week away, and then we're getting towards
crazy.
swimming state championships and golf skis state championships for girls, and then you really get into it. So it comes up on you quick.
Yep. All right. Well, I don't feel the need to just keep talking. Let's bring this thing in for a landing. Let's get into our parting thoughts. Marcus Walsh, what you got?
Got two of them. The Cleveland Guardians just keep on doing it.
I
It's
knew we were getting
absolutely.
I put it in the show description that we were
It's-
getting the Cleveland Guardians update tonight.
It's
I said, and
absolutely
if you've been
amazing.
wondering what's going on
They-
with the Cleveland Guardians, don't worry.
They
Marcus
lose
has
yesterday and they still get help.
Yep.
So they are in the midst of both the American League Central and the wild card, as they've got the tiebreaker with Houston for the wild card positioning number 3. And if they happen to do really well in these next two series at home against Detroit and Texas,
Yeah.
they could even take over the Central Division.
It is going to be
It's going to be a lot of fun
in Cleveland. It is going to be rocking over there, and that's where you really use the excitement of your fans to try to power you towards that playoff spot. But it is going to be incredibly tense this last week of action in the American League. And what is going on with the Tigers? I mean, certainly the Braves with some heroics, Nacho Alvarez and the 2 outs in the 9th, and the Tigers dropping, which they should have had, and then just spiraling from there for Detroit. So they're going to have
really
to
wild
to find something quickly to get back where they need to be, because they've only got a 1-game lead, and it's going to come down to this series between them and Cleveland. And of course, then Detroit comes to Boston. And of course, the Red Sox are trying to secure their spot. So there could be some very exciting moments over this last week. Meanwhile, Seattle just swept Houston, so they are on the verge of winning the division, which kind of came out of nowhere. But man, what a season Cal Raleigh has had! I believe up to 58 home runs on the year. He could hit 60. Certainly, you can make KC has been the MVP of this team. I think you can make a solid argument as of that. But it is
MVP of the league.
A very, very exciting final week of the season.
I would vote for him.
I've previously been against this playoff format, but I'll tell you what has made it, and even in the National League,
fun year this year.
We're fighting off Cincinnati for that last wild card spot there. So, it's making for some intense races.
It's going to be great. Certainly thinking about Cleveland and Detroit, it's like they flip flopped within a year because Cleveland was absolutely outstanding for the majority of last year.
Exactly.
Theoretically, the whole year
in
a couple of streaks, and then Detroit came out of nowhere at the end, and it's vice versa this year for sure. I also wanted,
crazy.
without question, I also wanted to give a quick happy heavenly birthday shout out to my buddy Paul Jacobson. We lost Paul in 2018. I sang with Paul for about 6 years. He's a big reason of why I am where I am. I moved here not knowing anybody. He was one of the first people that took me under his wing. Again, we sang and did some business together. And then he told me about WHHI and this guy by the name of Wayne Morris. And I ended up interviewing after, doing the whole bit with the resume, cover letter. I did that on a Monday after talking to Paul on a Sunday, and the next day I was talking to Wayne in the WHHI conference room, and one thing leads to another. And obviously, that was really kind of my last straw. And I've said this story a lot because it leads just to so many other things that I've had happen in my life now. I was really at my last straw. I was about ready to go back to Ohio and start working for the local radio station in Ohio, in Canton, if I could. Paul gave me a great gift, and I always think of him, and certainly hope that he's proud. I know that he is for sure. Happy birthday, Paul! You were one of a kind, and thanks for everything. Good old PSJ.
Saved you from the cruelest fate of all, moving back to Ohio.
And having to deal with those winters. No, I love my home state, no doubt about it.
I'm just saying, there's not a lot of people clamoring to get back in. Wes, what do you got, man?
First off, great to see.
I mean, you were supposed to feed Max some crow right now about the Carolina Panthers absolutely dominating.
Yes. I will say Carolina played a great game. The defense really showed up, but Bryce Young only threw for 150 yards. He didn't have to do much. I will tell you that Juba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle had a great game on the ground, but most of the work was just because of the Falcons beating themselves. And, play calling was, very interesting. I felt they relied on Penix a few times too much, and the Panthers kind of baited him into some bad throws, and really that was the difference in the ball game. Once the Panthers defense kind of got in his head, Penix wasn't able to do anything, and Bijan, although he is a tremendous ball carrier and terrific running back, he did not do much, and he just didn't get as many opportunities as maybe he should have to control this game early on. So credit the Panthers defense, and credit them for taking advantage of just a couple of lapses by the Falcons in this game. But one that Carolina really needed, one that Dave Canales really needed, and maybe this gets them off to some positive momentum going forward into New England game that they should compete in. So certainly nice to have some optimism for once for a franchise that has just struggled for over the past few years, but certainly some big questions as well for Atlanta. And I think one is, how you need to use your franchise running back a little more and let him get some touches. And two is Penix going to be the guy? And of course, maybe three, but in a different facet, what is young Lowco thinking right now after Parker Romo missed 2 straight field goals to open the game, 2 important field goals that took momentum all the way away from Atlanta in that ball game. So
the number 30 was really prevalent in that game, and the fact that Atlanta lost 30-0 and they didn't make it past their own 30-yard line. Are you kidding me? What? Yes, I'm serious.
They never made it past the Carolina 30?
They never made it past their own, I don't think.
They had some field goal attempts,
yeah, they had to.
They missed 2 30,
but they might not have gotten past the Carolina 30.
Maybe the Carolina 30, the Carolina 30 may have made more sense.
But it was.
I didn't watch any of the game, and from all reports, I didn't miss much.
In Charlotte, but crazy stuff over there. I have another parting thought and related to that one. Some statewide news in a sense, because it really accomplished one of the greatest college players and whoever have come through the state of South Carolina. Is now the queen of the NBA or the WNBA. Asia Wilson,
Yep.
the most valuable player of WNBA, that was
4th time.
made known this weekend, and I think it was a great call, great decision by the league, and she has become one of the face. Obviously, Caitlin Clark is up there and others, but just the way that she has dominated across the college scene, has gone to the WNBA and put up the numbers and the success that she has, repping the state of South Carolina in the process. That is fantastic to see, and what a talent, what a tremendous player that she is, and I think she is really helping, along with some others, really spur the growth of WNBA basketball. I don't remember it being as big as it is now. I mean, you just look around the landscape, and everybody's talking about the WNBA, which is really cool. And I think they're getting some good ratings, and they're getting some good exposure. And I think a lot of people, just basketball fans, are watching, and basketball fans of all ages and genders are watching this, which is really awesome. And the playoffs are
it's good
are ongoing right now. Good, I believe. Yeah,
the fever, the Caitlin Clarkless fever just knocked off.
The fever
the Aces
with
last night.
They
right?
beat they beat the Las Vegas Aces in game 1 of that series, and Minnesota Lynx looking good.
That was a shocker.
Yep. Although they have been a tremendous team throughout, so no surprise that they're still in the mix of it. But some shocking results there.
Yeah, but the Aces were like red hot going in. Everybody thought it was them and the Lynx. But no, Age has been the best. Four-time WNBA MVP now, I think.
Wow.
She's approaching GOAT status in women's basketball history. She's got all the resume. Weird parting thought, I guess, but what is up with the blocked kicks in the NFL yesterday? So many blocked field goals and blocked punts. You had a blocked field goal walk-off by Philly, which was their second blocked field goal of the day. If you were watching Red Zone, it just felt like
going
it was
on.
a blocked field goal every time you turned around.
Well, we saw it over in the Lowco with Buford winning on that block kick, and now we see it in the NFL.
Which, by the way, was the Huddle #1 play of the week that week.
Wow.
So brought to you by Huddle. We're gonna get that Huddle sponsorship one way or another. But yeah, it was
some wild finishes, including that one you mentioned with Cleveland taking down Green Bay, and probably the center of the season so
Good
far.
grief. I didn't even have.
And they didn't overreact. They didn't overreact to their rookie kicker selling in week 1. He sold big time in week 1, but they didn't overreact. They kept him, and he won it yesterday. That was huge. The NFL is so weird. It's so crazy.
I mean,
you just never know what's
crazy.
Just
just
in the league.
The thin margins between these teams.
You just
it's
never
crazy.
know.
That's why everyone is. It's just so so inclined to watch it every Sunday, because you just never know which way the ball will bounce on. I mean, you see a kick out a game-winning field goal for the win, and it turns the other way, and all of a sudden, the Packers are no longer undefeated. And it's just the margins are so tight in terms of a couple of plays that really decide a game. And even though the Panthers won 30-0, I think if a couple of plays had gone the other way, it could have been a completely different game. So it's just incredibly thin. Just the parity of this league. We've seen it for a while, even though, and just give credit to, Kansas City for what they have done throughout the last couple of years, because it's never easy to win the NFL. And what the Chiefs have done, obviously it hasn't been the best start for them this year, but to see what they have done in years past, the level of consistency they've shown, it's hard to do. It's hard to do in this league. And
it was a good weekend at my house.
Yes,
very good weekend
at my house. Yeah.
Yes, how about Mizzou knocking off South Carolina on Saturday?
Program
tight game. Yeah, the Tigers.
Rough weekend for South Carolina.
Clemson continues their downward spiral.
Clemson and Carolina.
And it is all off the rails right now. Over in Tiger Town, they are
Sure
struggling to
is.
put
They're going.
together. It is, yes.
They're gonna
I
roll
think
Dabo down that hill pretty
with
soon.
Dabo's really starting to lose
Yeah.
lose
If he
part of
doesn't
his
get
team
it
right
turned
now.
around real quick, I
Yeah.
think he's looking for another job.
I look
don't
forward to
know. I don't
seeing
know.
how
I
angry
wouldn't
he
go
is
that
at his
far.
press
I wouldn't go
conference
that
this week.
far, but I think
They're
that
starting to place. You can place bets on the next coach at Clemson now, and it's like 4-1 on Jimbo Fisher. Who was the other one that was the top odds were Jimbo Fisher and somebody else that I'm not. Oh, Brent Venables. Brent Venables and Jimbo Fisher
Ooh.
were the top two.
Interesting.
But yeah,
more DC.
they're starting to talk about
Yeah,
it.
I mean,
The
this
guy
is the
from
worst
Memphis
start
was
since
in there.
2004. Worst start for that program since 04, which obviously means the worst start in
I
Dabo
just think
Swinney's
he was
tenure.
on thinner ice going into this year than
Well, it just felt
anybody
like some of
really
his
wanted
offense.
to
Even though they
let
made the
on.
playoff last year, kind of like they barely did, and it just felt like
He just did a lot of whining and
yeah,
excuses
Yeah, the
too
last
much.
few
there was some
years, he's
negative
turning into a
just
curmudgeon a little bit.
sentiments
Yeah,
regarding
not
Sweeney
a
in terms
fan.
of his just views towards the transfer portal and just other
Right.
remarks and comments going into the season. And obviously the expectations were sky high. I mean, people picked him to be a top
Yeah.
10, if not top 5 team. And Klubnik is like a Heisman contender, and to see it snowball the way it has in just a couple of weeks, incredible.
Yep. Well, hey, boys, good times tonight. Appreciate you. Always fun talking sports with you guys, breaking down the highlights from another exciting week of Lowco high school football. We'll be back with
I
you
will be out.
Wednesday night.
Actually, one more parting thought before I head out.
All right. After he sneezes. He's got to sneeze first.
Pause for
but yeah, we'll.
We're back now. Tough loss for USC women's soccer. They suffered their first loss of the season 1-0 at North Georgia, but a well-played game. Certainly, it looked like the Nighthawks dominated. They certainly had more shots on goal. And I'm trying to battle this cold right here. But yeah, deserving win from North Georgia. But I think USCB showed they could handle some like number 10 team in the country. They were able to compete in battle. So that's a great sign for Gary Bowden's team, and I expect them to bounce back the big win Wednesday against Clayton State, a team they should be able to handle. And then Albany State, both those games are very winnable for the Sand Sharks. So I expect them to bounce back this week after their first loss of the year. And then one more thing. I'll be headed, I believe I'm trying to get to Beaufort for a big volleyball match tomorrow between May River and Beaufort Eagles, a important one. Both teams have been impressive to start the year, and it should be an exciting one over there at Ladies Island. I'm pumped to see it. I haven't seen May River yet live, but that Beaufort team, the way they beat Bluffton a couple weeks ago was very impressive. Can they do it again against the Sharks at home?
Yeah.
Should be fun.
Yeah, you'll also be able to catch some volleyball on Beaufort's Own and BC TV. They'll have Bishop England at Bluffton tomorrow night, and then May River at Bluffton on Thursday. So we got some good volleyball action coming up.
Yes.
All right, boys. So we'll take tomorrow night off. We'll let Under the Bus take over the Lowco Media Network tomorrow night. We'll be back Wednesday night, catch up on what's going on. We'll do our power rankings, maybe our players of the week if we got all the stats tracked down by then. And then Thursday night, we'll be back for the Lowco Pigskin Preview edition of the Lowco Sports Lowdown. So thanks to all of our sponsors for making it possible, especially our All-Stars, Mickelson Law Firm and WHHI TV. Thanks to all of you for showing up to listen or watch. For Marcus Walsh and Wes Kerr, I'm Justin Jarrett. Till next time, go Lowco.